Eyes were on legendary investor Warren Buffett last week, and he rode to the rescue of investment bank Goldman Sachs with a $5 billion cash infusion. He's estimated to be worth about $62 billion and makes him the richest man in the world. But for someone so well known, his life has been kept relatively private until now. Fans of the Oracle of Omaha can learn all about his business, family, and friends in the new book, The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life by Alice Schroeder. Buffett handpicked his biographer, a Wall Street analyst and managing director at Morgan Stanley. Alice, good morning. Congratulations.
Thank you, Matt.
How good a phone call was that when he said, okay, you can write the book on my life?
I was stunned.
Why did he choose you? Did he say?
He's a handicapper. He grew up betting on horses at the racetrack, and he basically made a bet on me.
And he's hoping it will pay off like so many of his other bets have. I understand he basically said, you can do the book, but I have one rule. When there are two versions of a story about an incident in my life or my life in general, I want you to use the less flattering example.
That's right. And then for 5 years, he did not know what I was doing. And when he saw the book right before it went to the printer, he did not ask for a single change.
Which is great. I think people want to know one basic question. They want to know, how did he do it? What made this guy? Was he born to this? What was it about him that allowed him to become the richest man in the world?
He would say focus, that he channeled all of his energy toward the one goal of making money. He's also, though, a collector. He started collecting coins, stamps, but what he really collects is cash. So the urge to collect money and focus is what it was.
But in a way, a lot of people get tagged with the greed line right after that, and he doesn't seem to have been tagged with that, in part because he lives still a pretty simple lifestyle.
Right. He doesn't have any interest in spending the money. He just likes to collect it.
This is a guy who was a millionaire. By today's standards, if you take into account, inflation and all that stuff, by the age of 26, he sold golf balls. We have one thing in common. We were paper boys. He sold newspapers. At what point, though, did his acumen for making money kind of reach the stratosphere?
Well, he started when he was age 6, selling chewing gum. So he was a prodigy. Now, he became a billionaire by the time he was in the 1980s. And he, of course, is the richest man in the world today.
His personal life is a little complicated. He was married to Susie. That was his first wife. I think he says in your book, he says one of his biggest regrets in life is allowing her to walk out the door, because she basically left him and he didn't stop her. But even as she left him, she asked a family friend named Astrid to look after him and explain the dynamic that then unfolded.
Yes. Susie kept part of the wifely role when she left, the emotional support, and to some extent she was an authority figure to Warren, but he is incapable of looking after himself. This is a man who literally cannot turn on an oven. So Astrid's role was to take on the rest of the wife job, and essentially they split it in an arrangement that was acceptable to all of them.
Well, acceptable to all of them except Astrid moved in.
Yes.
And eventually they became the couple.
Yes, yes.
And how did Susie feel about that when her, as you put them, wifely duties were now completely gone?
Well, it worked for them because Susie wanted to give up that part. And it was obviously not any of their...
Sounds like a merger.
It was...
I mean, no, it does. It sounds like a business deal.
It was not it was a personal deal, but obviously for all of them, it was not what they would have chosen as their first choice, but it worked for them.
I talk about a simple lifestyle, but actually Warren Buffett has on occasion been accused of being stingy with money, in particular with his family. Yet you say you've witnessed that there was an evolution there to someone who became exceedingly generous with charities like the Gates Foundation.
Yes, he was very stingy with his children when he was young, but he, in 2004, gave them each more than $1 billion worth of Berkshire stock to put in their personal foundations. He gives them $1 million every 5 years on their birthday. He's been able to let go of the money in
Well, when you
years.
have $62 billion, you let go a little bit, don't you?
It starts to get easier, yeah.
Well, again, the book is called The Snowball, Warren Buffett and the Business of Life.